Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom.
which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. We have to understand that what Yahweh has prophesied and what he has set to go to the children of Israel is a truly great and blessed thing. But we are not just going to receive those things by happenstance or by halfway approaching unto Yahweh, our Elohim. And when we look at the things that are written in this book, we find that there are people that have made serious sacrifices for this word to be available unto us. It's one thing for the children of Israel to go through these things. It was something altogether different for people to put their lives in jeopardy just to preserve what was written down so that we may have a way in which to seek Yahweh, our Elohim. We have to understand what this book is. When we deal with the way that the people deal in the daughter of Babylon, they have a ecclesiastical system and then they have a judicial system, and those systems are separated. It's not going to be so in a righteous kingdom. You have to understand that the preachers and the politicians here are two totally different groups who make deals with one another and do things of that nature. It's not going to be separate in a righteous kingdom. Here is all your political dealings. Here are all your ecclesiastical dealings. They're all in the same place. So we won't do business, and our business is some way separate because the way people have adopted their mindset is all is fair in love, war, and business. So the way business goes, if you can do something foul and that person signs that contract, then it's legal as long as they agree to it. We can't operate like that. See, this doesn't just direct how we deal in our worship practices. This deals with our business. This deals with our worship. This deals with everything. So there won't be a need to hire a lawyer if there's an issue. See, this is an unrighteous system. When something happens here, we have to hire an attorney because we don't understand the law. There should be no excuse for any of us having to hire an attorney in a righteous kingdom. We show up with the law book. This is the law book. And everything that we're going to need to argue our case is going to be right here in this book. There won't be any hidden definitions. In the way that man deals with things, they speak a different language in their courtroom. They'll use a word that is defined one way in Webster's, but it's defined a totally different way in Black's Law Dictionary. So you think they're talking about one thing and they're talking about something altogether different. And you'll never be able to deal with them on that level because they're dealing with a whole different construct than what you're dealing with. You're thinking they mean one thing and they're talking about something else. And that's like playing with a different set of cards. You ain't never going to win. But here, Yahweh has given us a just system. And this system governs all that we do in our houses, in our jobs, and in our places of worship. And we need to understand what this book is. This is not a book about religion. This has the history and prophecy of the children of Israel. And this is what we are set to live by. But brother, would you read the oracles and entreat the angel that stands at the door to come in and sup with us and us with him, that we may make this a holy convocation by the angel's presence?
1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Messiah, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as become saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 through 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right. The prophetic office is not a line that one can place himself in. He must be placed there by Yahweh according to what is written. Oftentimes, the prophets did not get to just speak about the prophecy that was given unto them. Some had to painfully live out the prophecy. Many observed the life of Jacob, Leah, and Rachel in a carnal manner, believing it is all about the troubles of a multiple marriage. They missed the fact that Yahweh has caused Jacob, or Israel, to live out the future problems of the nation of Israel. Yahweh commanded Hosea to marry a whore and an adulteress, one to represent Yehudah and the other to represent Israel. If you focus on the carnal, you will completely miss the spiritual. Hindsight is always 20/20, as they say, and it is often easy to see the problems of the past houses of Israel. The question is, can we look internally and see the current problems of Israel and her broken house? Let's begin in Isaiah chapter 1, and we're going to read verses 1 through 21. Isaiah chapter 1 and verses 1 through 21, and today's sermon is entitled Israel and her broken house.
Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 1. The vision of Isaiah, the son of Amoz, which he saw concerning Yehudah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Yehudah. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for Yahweh hath spoken.
The fact that there is there are kings of Yehudah, and not just kings of Israel, that we end up having this split nation. We have a northern kingdom and a southern kingdom. This is a problem. This is a divided house. So a lot of things that were going on in the beginning of the book, people didn't truly understand. People read those things, but they don't really understand that those people's lives were prophetic visions of Israel. See, a lot of people want to have certain places in Yahweh's scheme of things, but the higher your seat, the higher the responsibility. And it's one thing to just be able to say these people's lives was in danger just by saying the things that Yahweh wanted them to say. Imagine what happened if he make you live it out. Go ahead.
Verse 2. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for Yahweh hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel does not know. My people does not consider. A sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity.
Right. Now, these people were given the law, the only nation that was given the law. A sinful nation. Sin, the definition of sin is transgression of the law. And we were the only people given the law. Go ahead.
A seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken Yahweh. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They're gone away backwards. Why should you be stricken any more? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint.
It shows that after a while, Yahweh gets tired. Yahweh is full of mercy and grace. But after so long, it's no matter what I give to them, no matter what I do to them, they still won't repent. Eventually, you run out of the grace period. The grace don't last forever. Go ahead.
From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been cleansed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment.
So they haven't been tended to. See, we got problems or wounds. See, these are wounds in the natural body and wounds in the spiritual body. You got problems that you haven't bound up. You haven't put ointment on. See, we have a tendency to just say, I'm going to ignore this and hope that it go away. It ain't going to go away. It's going to get worse. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 7. Your country is desolate. Your cities are burnt with fire. Your land, strangers devoured in your presence, and it is desolate, as overthrown by strangers.
Right. We didn't do what we were supposed to do in our land. That strangers have our land, and they misusing it. Go ahead.
And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard, as a lodge in a garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city. Except Yahweh of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been likened unto Gomorrah. Hear the word of Yahweh, you rulers of Sodom. Give ear unto the law of our Elohim, you people of Gomorrah.
So Yahweh is now likening the children of Israel to Sodom and Gomorrah. See, after a while, he gets tired. The mercy and the grace, people want to tell you that the mercy and grace extends forever. They have these twisted doctrines that they teach on Sunday morning. There ain't nothing you can do to lose your salvation. You ain't gonna find that in this book no place. I don't know who told you, but they done told you a lie. You can believe that if you want to. See, that's that twisted thing that causes us to put in a half effort. Well, there ain't nothing I can do to lose it. Well, imagine if your job told you that there ain't nothing that you can do to lose this job. You supposed to be there at 9, you gonna get there at 12:30. You gonna get there right in time for lunch. You gonna clock in 12. All right, it's time for lunch. I'm gonna go get. You just got here. Yeah, but it's 12 though. It's lunchtime. So you gonna get in at 12 and then take an hour lunch. Yeah, and I'm gonna leave at 2. Right. Well, that's what you do when you think there ain't nothing that you can do to lose it. Now think about the setup. So this is what they teach us on Sunday morning. There ain't nothing that you can do to lose your salvation. So now you come with this half effort and think Yahweh's supposed to be pleased at it. Offer it unto your natural friends and see if they like your little half effort. Give it to them, see if they like it. Go ahead.
Verse 11. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me, saith Yahweh? I am full of the burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks, or of lambs, or of he-goats.
Now, these are things that Yahweh commanded us to do. And now he's not even pleased in them because you're not doing them right. Go ahead.
When you come to appear before me, who has required this at your hand, to tread my courts? Bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and Shabbats, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with. It is iniquity, even the solemn meeting.
I cannot away with it, but it's iniquity, even the solemn meeting, because of what you bring to it. Some people say shalom and ain't no peace in it. Shalom mean peace. People people will offer you peace in a warlike spirit. Shalom. What was the reason he was saying shalom, and you gonna say it with that war in your heart? Shalom, brother. You could have kept that. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 14. Your new moons and your appointed feasts my soul hateth.
My soul hate them because you show up at the appointed feast, but your heart ain't in it. You are there physically to go through all the motions of the feast, but your heart ain't in it. What's the use of showing up? Go ahead.
They are trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them.
It wearies Yahweh to even see you in your half effort. Show up into his house like you going to a party. Go ahead.
And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes from you.
Right.
Yes. When you make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood.
See, this is what happened when Yahweh get tired. No, let all them people that you gave your chief time to, let them save you. That's who you put all your time and energy in. Let them come save you. See if Keisha can do it for you. That's who you call all the time. Every time something happens, Keisha only want to know what's going on with you. Call Keisha. What you praying to me for now? You ain't deal with me before. Remember, it says Yahweh is a very jealous Elohim. You think he gonna keep taking your second, third, fourth, and fifth best, but then when you get in trouble, you want to come and pray to him? Go ahead.
Verse 16. Wash you, make you clean. Put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do well. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. Plead for the widow.
I can sum that up for you. Repent. Go ahead.
Come now, and let us reason together, saith Yahweh. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool.
Right. If you make a real heartfelt turn away from those things are not held against you. But if you keep walking in the same manner, then that what you do now and that what you have done in the past will be held against you. You ain't gonna pass if that's the case. The only way to get those other things, it says judge yourself that you be not judged. You have the opportunity for all of those other things not to be held against you. Even after baptism, if you turn. But you can't keep doing the same things and think, oh yeah, you know, I'm good. If you go into it with the attitude of, hey, there's nothing I can do to lose it, you already lost it. Go into a relationship like that, there ain't nothing I can do to lose it. It's gonna go down real fast. It's gonna be a problem. Go ahead.
Verse 19. If you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. But if you refuse and rebel, you shall be devoured with the sword. For the mouth of Yahweh hath spoken it. How is the faithful city become an harlot? It was full of judgment, righteousness lodged in it, but now murderers.
So it went from faithful to becoming a harlot. Let's go to chapter 5 in Isaiah, and let's start that at verse 1.
It says, chapter 5 and verse 1. Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My beloved hath a vineyard in a very fruitful hill. And he fenced it, and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choice vine, and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made a winepress therein.
Now, he did all the things he needed to do to build this vineyard in a rightful manner. Go ahead.
And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes.
Now here go Israel, wild grapes. Go ahead.
And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem, and men of Judea, judge, I pray you, between me and my vineyard.
The last thing you want to hear from Yahweh is judge between me and you. That's the last thing you want to hear. Judge between me and you. People don't understand how heavy that statement is. Let Yahweh judge between me and you. You might want to make sure you got all your ducks in a row before you let that fly out your mouth. Because see, we have a tendency to see everything that other people did wrong and not the things that we did wrong. And then you turn around and say, judge between me and you. Yahweh is a righteous judge. So he see the stuff that you did too. Go ahead.
Verse 4. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it?
Right. So he didn't have do it when it came to putting this vineyard together now. Go ahead.
Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes.
Right. These wild grapes said, I'm going to worship you, Yahweh, but I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. I'm going to serve you, Yahweh, but I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. Them wild grapes. See? The wild grapes, they're going to do the things, but they're going to do them the way they want to do them. Go ahead.
And now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down.
That's why we're going through the things that we're going through here, and not just in this daughter of Babylon. You go from place to place. You go to South America, our people having the same problems down there. We're having the same issues. Why are these things happening to us? Because he took away the wall. He took away the defense from his vineyard because of those wild grapes. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they may rain no rain upon it. For the vineyard of Yahweh of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Yehudah his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold oppression, for righteousness, but behold a cry. Woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. In mine ears, said Yahweh of hosts, of a truth many houses shall be desolate, even great and fair, without inhabitant. Yea, 10 acres of vineyard shall yield one bath, and the seed of an omer shall yield an ephah. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue until night, till wine inflame them. And the harp, and the viol, the tabret, and pipe, and wine are in their feasts. But they regard not the work of Yahweh, neither consider the operation of his hands.
It says the harp, the viol, the tabret, the pipe, and the wine are in their feast. So they got nice music, nice drink, everything look nice. But Yahweh not in the feast. But it look nice. There's some nice pictures to put on Facebook. Go ahead.
It says, chapter 5 and verse 13. Therefore my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore hell hath enlarged herself, and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it. And the mean man shall be brought down, and the mighty man shall be humbled, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled. But Yahweh of hosts shall be exalted in judgment, and Elohim that is holy shall be sanctified in righteousness. Then shall the lambs feed after their manner, and the waste places of the fat ones shall strangers eat. Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity, and sin as it were with a cart rope. That say, let him make speed, and hasten his work, that he may see it. And let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel draw near and come, that we may know it.
Right, and we don't understand how dreadful that day is going to be. See, that's what happened when you get, these happy doctrines, and everything is, don't worry, be happy. God not mad at you, blah, blah, blah. And then they desire the day of Yahweh and not understanding, that's a dreadful day. When Yahweh set things right side up, believe you me, it's going to get a whole lot worse before it get better. See, we think it's just going to be, okay, one day Yahweh going to show up and everything going to be fine. Oh, no, 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 no. All hell going to break loose. See, people got to first of all be persuaded that they even need to deal with Yahweh. See, it says, let your conversation be honest among the Gentiles. That whereas upon the day of visitation, they may glorify your Father which art in heaven. The key word is upon visitation. See, man hadn't got visited yet. See, everything funny when everything going your way. Until you get that visit. And when that visit comes, some people not preparing for the visit. See? They're not preparing for the visit. So they doing everything that they like, whatever they want to do, everything go however they want, fine. They don't like it, they act like they don't see it. Fine. But then there's going to come that day. Who is it? Yahweh. I ain't here. No. No. You had plenty of time to prepare for my visit. I'm here. Wait, I'm not decent. You wasn't decent before and you ain't never going to be decent. Open the door. I done seen what you got because I made it. Open the door. I ain't no more getting ready. See, once the grace period runs out, that bill is due. Go ahead.
Hosea chapter 5 and verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine and men of strength to mingle strong drink.
Right. And the strong drink that we mingle today is that doctrine. See, we got that mingle doctrine. Part good, part bad. And they mix it in. Once you mix wine with water, you can't tell what part is wine and what part water. All you know is it ain't good. Same with that twisted doctrine. Once you mix it in with the evil, ain't no mixing that back. That's got to be thrown out. You got to start that over. And that's what we don't want to do. Go ahead.
Verse 23. Which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. Therefore as the fire devoureth the stubble and the flame consumeth the shaft, so their root shall be as rottenness, and their blossom shall go up as dust, because they have cast away the law of Yahweh of hosts and despised the word of the Holy One of Israel.
Right, because we've cast away the law, and it's amazing that people not dealing with the spirit of the law, trying to deal with the letter of the law in these days, don't understand when Yahweh shifted that gear and how he dealt with this law. But we're going to see that even before New Testament, how he shifted the gear in dealing with that law. Because once he has already seen you ain't going to keep it, then I'm going to make sure you ain't going to even be able to fake like you keeping it when I'm done. Go ahead.
Verse 25. Therefore is the anger of Yahweh kindled against his people, and he has stretched forth his hand against them, and has smitten them. And the hills did tremble, and their carcasses were torn in the midst of the streets. For all this, his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. And he will lift up an ensign to the nations from far, and will hiss unto them from the end of the earth. And, behold, they shall come with speed swiftly. None shall be weary nor stumble among them. None shall slumber nor sleep. Neither shall the girdle of their loins be loose, nor the latchet of their shoes be broken.
Right. He's going to break down the wall, let those nations come in and invade the holy city. And now we have been spread out to every corner of the globe. And no one wants to go into explaining why. See, we talk about slavery, but nobody wants to talk about why did Yahweh allow us to be slaves. This entire book tells you what would happen to the children of Israel. Constantly, the punishment was captivity. But nobody wants, but see, the nations are telling us, oh, don't talk about that slavery. And we took the bait, not understanding that's your key to who you are. So we won't tell our kids about it. We won't talk to our kids about slavery because it's a hard place for us to understand. How did we lose power like that somebody was able to make us slaves and do physical labor? How did we get that weak? This part where he says, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do to my vineyard. I'm going to take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be trodden down. This is how that happened to us. Go ahead.
Hosea chapter 5 and verse 28. whose arrows are sharp, and all their bows bent. Their horses' hoofs shall be counted like flint, and their wheels like a whirlwind. Their roaring shall be like a lion. They shall roar like young lions. Yes, they shall roar and lay hold of the prey, and shall carry it away safe, and none shall deliver it. And in that day they shall roar against them like the roaring of the sea. And if one look onto the land, behold, darkness and sorrow, and the light is darkened in the heavens thereof.
And Yahweh told Israel over and over what would happen if we didn't do the things that we were supposed to do. We were given this law as we were about to be given the land. So if you're not going to have any land, you don't need no law. See, law governs how you're going to deal in the land. So all of these people that's telling you the law is nailed to the cross, they want you to stay tenants. See, tenants live in somebody else's house. You don't really need to worry about any other thing because you're a tenant. See, those things were taught by the powers that be to our preachers to teach us. Don't worry about that law. They only had to worry about a law when they were given a land. We don't want them to ever have no land, so don't teach them no law. See, our people don't get the correlation. See, they want you to constantly be tenants. This is how you conduct yourself in a land that you own. They don't want you to know that because they don't want you to ever get it back. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 20. See, that's the slickness of the adversary. He teaches you in a suspect manner because he never wants you to realize, wait a minute. So you telling me this house mine? You ain't telling me this house is mine. You told me I was renting the house. You ain't telling me this house is mine. Oh no, you wasn't supposed to see that paper. No. Look at this one. Look at this one right here. Look at this one right here. No, this is my paper. This is my paper right here. I'm sorry. I sent you the wrong paper. I sent you the wrong paper. Never mind that. Take it out your mind. Take it out your mind. Remember this paper. No, man, no. I seen it now. I done seen it. You can't take it back. This said the house is mine. How you gonna now tell me I'm a tenant? This said I own the house. This is your deed to the land. And nobody wants you to understand it. Because the more you understand this, the more you start saying, wait a minute now, that stuff mine. That stuff mine. See, some people so good. See, that's the whole thing, how people operate as con men. Con men are so slick that they take your stuff without you even knowing that it's been taken. But you find the right paperwork and read the right lines, and you find out, wait a minute, I've been had. Here go the right paperwork. And every Sunday morning we're taught not to go into it. Not to go into it. So the people that go into it, they throw us a cherry picking of scripture. Here go verse 15. Here go verse 12. Yeah, here go verse 5 and 6. And you ain't never gonna understand nothing like that. You ain't never gonna understand nothing getting these cherry pickings of scripture. And people feel all good. Ooh, verse 12. Ooh. You ain't never gonna understand it like that. And they know that. And the people who gave them money to start that church know that as well. Don't think that them people just started that church. They got funds to do that. And they got to pay back just like the politicians. The politicians get money to run their campaign, and they got to pay back the people who gave them those funds. They pay them back in the form of laws that's made for their businesses. Church make the same dealings. Isaiah chapter 20, let's read verses 1 through 6.
In the year that Tartan came on to Ashdod, when Sargon the king of Assyria sent him, and fought against Ashdod, and took it. At the same time spake Yahweh by Esaias the son of Amoz, saying, Go and loose the sackcloth from off your loins, and put off your shoe from off your foot. And he did so, walking naked and barefoot.
Hold on now, we got a law. We got a law. But Yahweh said you ain't going to keep the law no way. So now consider the position of this brother. This is the same brother that done walked around and told people, keep the law. Yahweh said keep the law. Then next thing you know, he naked and barefoot. Now you got to know Israel, had fun with that. Hey man, when you do to tell us to keep the law, now we're looking at your particulars. So Israel had a ball with this, yeah, right? But you see what Yahweh do when he turned the corner? See, people think, oh yeah, he turned the corner in the New Testament. No, when he decided, you know what, you ain't gonna keep the law, no how. Then he instructed the prophet. The prophet don't get to talk about it. He got to live it out. And everybody want to be, it is amazing. Everybody want to jump into the office of being a teacher. Be careful what you ask for. At least Yahweh said, all right, brother, you want to be a teacher? Guess you want to be a teacher? Take off your clothes and walk down Canada. I'm not going to be able to do that, Yahweh. I'm not going to be able to do it. No. Didn't you say you want to be a teacher? Let me teach you about nakedness. Take off your clothes and walk down Canada Road. Right. Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And Yahweh said, like as my servant Hosea has walked naked and barefoot 3 years.
3 years. We couldn't do it for 3 minutes. It's amazing, though. See? When we trying to be sexy, we'll put on some old stupid outfit. Man, I done did it too, back in the day. Put on a wife beater, go work out. Done oil myself all up. If I fail, I slide 6 miles down the street. I done did it in my stupidity too. Out there straight naked and don't even know it. Right. But then when Yahweh tell us to do it, we got a problem. You were doing it anyway. I ain't tell you put on that white beater and walk down the street. You did that on your own. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said, like as my servant Hosea has walked naked and barefoot 3 years for a sign and wonder upon Egypt and upon Ethiopia, so shall the king of Assyria lead away the Egyptians prisoners and the Ethiopians captives, young and old, naked and barefoot, even with their buttocks uncovered, to the shame of Egypt.
And it ain't shame now. People always show their buttocks. Jake put his pants under his butt and then walked in the middle of the street. And he got sense enough to put on good drawers. Walk down. He said, why I got to look at drawers as I'm driving down the street? And they think they doing it too, boy. Walk around holding their pants in the front, the back, under their butt. I done seen some put a belt on and put the belt under the butt. Why was he using him in the belt? Well, I don't want it to fall down. It's already down. Go ahead, man.
And they shall be afraid and ashamed of Ethiopia, their expectation, and of Egypt, their glory.
Right. So what Yahweh say, you seek to all these other places for your strength. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to your strength. That's where you put your hope in. I'm going to show you. I'm going to devour that which you put your hope in. But Jake still won't listen. Go ahead.
And the inhabitant of this isle shall say in that day, behold, such is our expectation, whether we flee for help to be delivered from the king of Assyria. And how shall we escape?
And how shall we escape? Let's go to Hosea chapter 1. Hosea chapter 1. And we're going to read that through chapter 3 and verse 5. Now, imagine Yahweh wanting you to understand his position. So he causes your wife to be unfaithful to you so that you can feel what he has felt because of Israel. Remember, Yahweh is married unto Israel. So all of this worshiping of other gods is adultery unto him. So supposes he causes your wife to be unruly and backbiting just so you can understand what Israel has done to him. See, this is something that we have to understand in the position that we hold with Yahweh. That means some of these things you ain't just going to be able to read about Israel. You're going to have to live it out. Hosea chapter 1, and let's start that at verse 1.
The word of Yahweh that came unto Hosea, the son of Beeri, in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Yehudah, and in the days of Jeroboam, the sons of Joash, king of Israel. The beginning of the word of Yahweh by Hosea. And Yahweh said to Hosea, go take unto your wife of whoredoms and children of whoredoms.
Now, first thing, we can go read in this book in Isaiah 62. It says, as a young man marries a virgin. This is the way that the things are set up. Yahweh, you ain't going to keep no law, no way. So what? He turning the corner. Look here. Go find you a wife of whoredoms. Go marry a whore. Go ahead.
For the land has committed great whoredom, departing from Yahweh.
Now, this is to live out what Israel have done. See, people, and it's funny, you got these brothers out here saying, don't, you can't prophesy with your head covered, brother. Anytime you read, brother, you have made yourself a prophet. See, that has got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And see, everybody want to put themselves in the line of being a prophet. Let's see what they do if Yahweh tell them to walk naked. Let's see what they do when Yahweh say, hey, go marry a whore. What do you mean? Everybody done been wild. I know. Go marry. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, prophet. You a prophet, right? Yeah, go and prophesy. See, it's some, they want to talk prophet. Yahweh make you live prophecy. Go play that game with somebody else. Like you can just read and make yourself a prophet. That's what these dudes out here hollering on the corner. They ain't got no business teaching nobody. Go ahead.
Verse 3. So he went and took Gomer, the daughter of Diblam, which conceived and bare him a son. And Yahweh said unto him, call his name Yezreel, for yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of Yezreel upon the house of Yehu, and will cause to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel. And it shall come to pass at that day that I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Yezreel.
See, there comes some interaction that has to happen. He says, behold, I stand and knock at the door. If any man will answer that door, I will come in and sup with him and him with me. See, that's action. One takes an action, a step, then the other takes a step. What we want to do is just stand there and let Yahweh do all the work. That ain't going to work. That's not according to what's written. You're going to have to do something. Go ahead.
And she conceived again and bare a daughter. And Elohim said unto him, call her name Lahoruma, for I will no more have mercy upon the house of Israel, but I will utterly take them away.
So not only was he told to marry this woman, but then have kids by this woman, and the kids were a part of the prophecy of what's going to happen to Israel. And people just want to throw themselves into positions. You might want to make sure you're ready for that before you throw yourself somewhere. At least Yahweh asked you something that you wasn't prepared for. Go ahead.
But I will have mercy upon the house of Yehudah, and I will save them by Yahweh their Elohim, and will not save them by bow, nor by sword, nor by battle, by horses, nor by horsemen. Now when she had weaned Lahoruma, she conceived and bare a son. Then said Elohim, call his name Lo Ami, for you are not my people, and I will not be your Elohim. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea.
So as we was going through all of our little practices on Hebrew, what does lo mean? Very good. Lo is not. So as soon as you notice that each one of these was lo something, so you automatically know lo not. Remember all the things that we were going through in the Hebrew study. So you see this lo, and you see both of them there. Lo. Go ahead.
Which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, you are the sons of the living Elohim. Then shall the children of Yehudah and the children of Israel be gathered together.
Right. So this is those two sticks. That's broken stick. See, it was never really supposed to be two sticks. See, there's a stick for Yehudah, there's a stick for Israel, and he's going to put that stick together and make it one. It was never two sticks. It was supposed to be one stick because it's supposed to be one nation. But we became divided the same way we are now. The effects of colonialism have us divided everywhere we are. I was looking at a program of Jamaicans are the ones who bleaching the most. I never thought I would see Jamaicans, proud islanders, bleaching their skin more than anybody else. They were less twisted than the rest of us because they didn't have to go through a lot of the things that we went through in the States. But see, you be among all of those nations and you start to pick up their ways. Jamaica is a tourist spot. So every time, they dealing with all these tourists, sooner or later, the whole nation looks up to the tourism industry because of the money that it brings. So now they look up to these people. Now they want to be these people. Brother told me a long time ago, he said, man, you ought to go to Jamaica. He said, man, they'll like you there. I said, why? He said, because they like people who from somewhere else. I said, what? He said, yeah, because they'll say, man, you're from foreign. I said, what? Yeah, but then they just went from that to go straight. Now you see Chinese Jamaicans, you got all these other Jamaicans, and you see a Chinese dude, he be like, hey, man. He be like, hey. You expected him to go, hello, how you doing? But then he coming straight Jamaican, and you like, it's messing with my mental, because you ready to hear 999, you have penny, but then he come out, hey, whoa, where this come from? He straight raised in Jamaica, and they love that because he's from foreign. See, this is the beginning of self-hatred. Now, they were showing how the girls bleach their skin and put this stuff all over their body, right? And then they get hot. It's burning their skin. It's bleach. They're bleaching it. Then they put saran wrap all around their body. And then they might even go outside and the girl said, it is hot. It is hot like death. But you have to go through it if you want to bleach. I was like, you are out of your mind. And they're just talking to different people and how they're bleaching. Some of them were like 11-year-old boys bleaching their skin. This is the effects of colonialism and this self-hatred. And it makes their skin thin. If they bleach too much, the veins will pop out and burst. Right. So be all these people that's telling you, oh, don't worry about your law. This is the effect of you not dealing with your law. That your people are out bleaching themselves because they don't feel like they're adequate. Go ahead.
And appoint themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of Yezreel. Chapter 2 and verse 1. Say you unto your brethren, am I, and to your sisters, Rahoma, plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adulteries from between her breasts, lest I strip her naked, and set her as in the day that she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst. And I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms. For their mother has played the harlot. She that conceived them has done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers, that give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flax, mine oil and my drink.
Right. As the mothers do, so shall the kids. So that's why we worshiped all the twisted things that we worship. That's why we committed the spiritual adultery of Christmas and Easter, because we became the children of whoredoms because we followed our whorish parents. They taught us how to worship those other gods, and they got it from the slave master. You asked them any questions, they couldn't answer. Why? Because they didn't make the decision. They didn't make a decision. The decision was made for them. But when it got to the point of, hey, can you explain this decision? They get defensive. They don't want to explain it because they can't. They didn't make the decision. The decision was made. You Baptist because the slave master that owned you was Baptist. You Methodist because the slave master that owned you was Methodist. Get a Baptist and a Methodist in front of each other. All right, tell me what's the difference between two. Well, we Baptist and then they methodical and see they right. Don't now one of y'all know, do you? Right, because they didn't make the decision. Slave master did. Go ahead.
Verse 6. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up your way with thorns, and make a wall, that she shall not find her paths. And she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them. And she shall seek them, but shall not find them.
Right. This is what Yahweh. Now, consider if Yahweh is trying to make you understand his position, he may make his prophets and his people live this out. Go ahead.
Then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband, for then was it better with me than now. For she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil, and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal.
Which they prepared for some other god. And I was the one that gave it to them. Go ahead.
Therefore will I return and take away my corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof.
And people always say, oh, this old mean brother here, he want to take back the stuff he gave me. Yeah, well, Yahweh did the same thing. Yahweh, here you go. Take this car. This is a nice car. All right. Then they go worship some other god in the car. Yo, give me my car back. You sit here and worship some other god in my car? Go ahead.
And will recover my wool and my flax given to cover her nakedness. And now will I discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and now I shall deliver her out of mine hand.
Right. These are the people that you gave all your choice time to. These are the people that you truly show yourself to. Well, I'm going to make sure you show all yourself. Give me all them clothes. Now go ahead, finish showing yourself to them. Go ahead.
I will also cause all her mirth to cease, her feast days, her new moons, and her Shabbats, and all her solemn feasts.
And some people don't keep the feast because they think they doing what's right, not understanding that it's Yahweh's punishment why you don't keep the feast. See, that's the part of the twisted thing that they think they making the decision themselves. They think the decision was all up to them. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And I'll destroy her vines and her fig trees, whereof she had said, these are my rewards that my lovers have given me. And I'll make them a forest, and the beast of the field shall eat them.
Everything that you say your lovers have given you, I'm going to make sure it all get devoured. Go ahead.
And I'll visit upon her the days of Baalim, wherein she burnt incense to them. And she decked herself with her earrings and her jewels, and she went after her lovers and forgot me.
Yeah. See, that's what it said. Her lovers. So she like incense. That's when you know it's about to go down. You see the incense and candles going on. Woo wee. Yeah, it's about to go down. Y'all was, oh yeah, it's about to go down. You can believe that. I'm going to show you. Go ahead.
Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness, and speak comfortably unto her. And I'll give her her vineyards from thence, and the valley of Achor for a door of hope. And she shall sing there, as in the days of her youth, and as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt.
Yahweh does the same things over and over again. So he's going to allure her to the wilderness. A lot of people want to just get them a plane ticket and go straight to Israel. You got to go to the wilderness first. See, you got to be sanctified first. You don't just get to go and fight in a holy war. First of all, everybody don't get to fight. You don't get to choose. He the one in charge. He does the choosing. And it depends on how you deal with being sanctified in that wilderness. Go ahead.
And it shall be at that day, saith Yahweh, that you shall call me Ishai, and shall call me no more Baali.
Right. So now, in this sanctification process, then Yahweh is going to decide who of those he's going to marry. Go ahead.
For I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name.
Right. People say, do you know the Lord? You don't either because you call him Lord. What's your God name? God? That's a title. It's not a name. Everybody was saying, lo am I. Lo. Each one of them had a definition. Listen, every time you read a name, it tells you something behind it. That's the definition of the name. People will tell you, this is his name. What it mean? See, people don't understand. Abram and Abraham don't mean the same thing. Sarai and Sarah don't mean the same thing. Go ahead.
Hosea chapter 2 and verse 18. And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, and with the creeping things of the ground. And I'll break the bow of the sword and the battle out of the earth, and will make them to lie down safely. And I'll betroth you unto me forever. Yes, I'll betroth you unto me in righteousness, and in judgment, and in loving kindness, and in mercy.
If you are betrothed, then that means you are set to be married. I will betroth you unto me forever. Go ahead.
I will even betroth you unto me in faithfulness, and you shall know Yahweh. And it shall come to pass in that day, I will hear, saith Yahweh, I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth. And the earth shall hear the corn, and the wine, and the oil, and they shall hear Yezreel. And I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I'll have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy. And I'll say to them which were not my people, you are my people. And they shall say, you are my Elohim.
Right. As it is written, they are not all Israel which are of Israel. So it's not of just the natural seed of Israel, but even those converts shall be joined unto the house. So you got those people that's out there teaching only Israel is going to be saved. That's a lie, and the truth ain't in it. That's not written in this book. Yahweh created all flesh. And all flesh that decides to walk in the righteousness of his law, what he has given, then they shall have a part in his kingdom. But they don't get to step over Israel to get to it, though. See? That's what the nations want to do. That's the problem. See? They want to disrespect part of the house. I've seen postings where you have these sisters, and most of the time it's sisters who done, been through all these relationship problems. They want to divide the 12 sons of Yaakov, the sons of Leah from the sons of Rachel and the other wives, because they want to say, oh, this is, the first wife. We only want to deal with, the kids of the first wife, Leah, not understanding that Yahweh was setting the prophetic parts of the problems that was going to happen with Israel. But people read that in their carnal state and don't understand what it is they're reading. But I asked those same people, what I ended up watching a post, and it only mentioned the accomplishments of the sons of Leah. So it was like the kings and the priests came out of here, blah 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 blah. I present this: if a woman have kids by more than one man, like me and my brother don't have the same daddy, is it okay to mention the accomplishments of one son and not mention any of the accomplishments of the other son? Would that go well with you? Don't that seem like a divided house? But see, because of Israel and their own dislikings, they want to divide the house. Then you become the evil stepmama then. We can't operate like that. There's 12 foundations to the holy city. You don't get to divide and knock off 6 of them because of your own likes and dislikes. And consider, if somebody like half of your house but dislike the other half, do they still get to come in your house? If so, you the fool. Because you don't get to come in my house, Hey, Lexi. Hey, Ari. Get out! You got a problem with one of my daughters? You got a problem with all my daughters? Get out! That ain't gonna work. See, that's that divided house thing. And people will try to divide your house because they used to having a divided house. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. House first, then nation. We ready to skip the house part and jump right to nation. No, Israel started as a family first, then grew into a nation. And part of those curses, the curse come all the way down to the house. And that's where we got to be fixed at. From the house up. Go ahead.
Hosea chapter 3 and verse 1. Then said Yahweh unto me, go yet, love a woman beloved of her friend, yet an adulteress, according to the love of Yahweh toward the children of Israel.
Go marry an adulteress. First of all, she was supposed to be stoned. So he first said, go marry a whore. You know what? Now, go marry an adulteress. I thought I was supposed to be a prophet. Wasn't that a good thing? That's what this marry a whore and an adulteress thing is all about. Right. Oh, you thought you were just going to get the talk prophecy. Right. Even talk prophecy wasn't exactly a good position in Israel. Now they make you think a prophet is such a good thing. You got all these so-called prophets on TV, the little smooth talking brothers. I'm the master prophet, and I prophesy all these great things. Right? That's funny because the people in this book prophesy stuff, and they were like, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you." They didn't like their prophecies. It's amazing how all the prophets of today don't say nothing but niceties. Oh, you gonna own a business. You're gonna be rich. You're gonna be rich beyond your dreams. You're gonna have money. It's gonna come out your eyeballs. It's gonna be everywhere. Wow. So all the prophecies are just sugary sweet. Amazing. Amazing how that works. Man, these brothers started prophesying. They were like, they threw these brothers in jail. Half of these prophets ended up in prison. They threw these brothers. Some of the brothers got slapped. Brothers trying to give their prophecy, they would pop that brother right in the mouth. Thrown in prison. They life threatened. They got to run from one place to another, running from Israel. Now all of a sudden, the prophets are the biggest paid brothers in town. They go from church to church. Churches hire slick prophets. The prophet jump 1 minute he in this town, he go to that town. Because see, they go and get money from the congregation. See, because you got to line up to get one of his personal prophecies. And you can't come with less than a $500, gift to get in that line. And the pastor going to get his cut. But this man was hired to do that. How do I know? I wrote one of them checks. I wrote one of them. Right. I'm guilty. But see, some things Yahweh send you through, you like, you see? Yeah. I let you be that stupid for a reason, see? See, now later on in life, you're going to teach about other people stupid because you done walk in the stupid yourself. All right? Now go on, stupid. Go to the next one. I got it. Go ahead, bro.
Who look to other gods and love flagons of wine.
A lot of times people are always teaching about something else that they done read about. See, can't nobody take this from me. See? I lived it. They can't take it from me. I don't care what they say. They can't take it from me. I ain't read about this stuff in no book. That's what Yahweh do. Some of the stuff you don't get to read about, he gonna make you live it. Go ahead.
Verse 2. So I brought her to me for 15 pieces of silver, and for an omer of barley, and an half omer of barley. And I said unto her, You shall abide for me many days. You shall not play the harlot, and you shall not be for another man. So will I also be for you. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without teraphim. Afterward shall the children of Israel return, and seek Yahweh their Elohim, and Dawid their king, and shall fear Yahweh and his goodness in the latter days.
All right, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 16. Ezekiel chapter 16, and let's start that at verse 1.
Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 1. Again the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations, and say, Thus saith the Adonai Elohim unto Jerusalem.
Cause them to know their abominations. Now see, this is completely different than the master prophet coming and telling you how rich you're going to be, coming to tell you how things, you going to prosper, you're going to have all these great things. Cause her to know her abominations. Automatically right here, this is a problem. Because now he's got to go and say this stuff and proclaim this over and over to the children of Israel. People don't like to hear truth about themselves. See, people go and they pay to hear falsehoods. People go to hear nice things. So that's why you don't see people busting down the doors to get up in here. They don't bust down the doors to hear the truth. They bust down the doors to go hear lies. To go hear motivational speaking. That's what they want. Motivate me, Pastor. Motivate me. I'm motivated. Thank you, Pastor. Yes, I'm going to hell. Yes. Right. Because that's where you're going. He telling you can do all this stuff and everything. God ain't mad at you. That's a lie. We sit here and read about Sodom and Gomorrah, and people, oh, God is happy with you. And all these black folk done got shot by the police. But your boy from Georgia, the representative, go and lead a sit-in for the people that got shot in the gay club. John Lewis. Yeah. Now, we keep getting shot dead in the street, unarmed. They shot a 50-year-old man in the back talking about we was threatened. The dude running in church shoes, he's slipping all over the place. How you was threatened by him? 50-year-old dude in some church shoes. He's sliding across the ground. I was threatened. You was so threatened you shot him in the back. He wasn't doing no sit-ins then. But let a bunch of gay people get shot. We shall overcome. So the black dude should have just act like they were gay. And maybe somebody would have came. He shoot at you, just pop, just fall down like that. Maybe somebody come to your rescue. That's some sad stuff, ain't it? Ain't that sad? So if somebody shoot you, just get on TV. I don't know what happened. They be like, we're going to go help that brother. We're going to go help that brother. Go ahead, bro.
Your birth and your nativity is of the land of Canaan. Your father was an Amorite and your mother an Hittite. As for your nativity...
Right, understand. This was Canaan land before we got it. So he's letting you know it wasn't like the beginning of this nation was some glorious thing. Don't overestimate your importance here. Go ahead.
And as for your nativity, in the day you was born, your navel was not cut, neither was you washed in water to supple you. You was not salted at all, nor swaddled at all. Now and I pitied you, to do any of these unto you, to have compassion upon you. But you was cast out into the open field, to the loathing of your person, in the day that you was born. And when I passed by you, and saw you polluted in your own blood, I said unto you, when you was in your blood, live. Yes, I said unto you, when you was in your blood, live. I have caused you to multiply as the bud of the field, and you has increased and waxen great, and you are come to excellent ornaments. Your breasts are fashioned, and your hair is grown, whereas you was naked and bare.
You was naked and bare when I found you. I suppled you and grew you into what you have become. Go ahead.
Now when I pass by you and look upon you, behold, your time was the time of love, and I spread my skirt over you and covered your nakedness. Yes, I swear unto you and entered into a covenant with you, saith the Adonai Elohim, and you becameth mine. Then washed I you with water. Yes, I thoroughly washed away your blood from you, and I anointed you with oil. I clothed you also with broidered work, and shod you with badger skin, and I girded you about with fine linen, and I covered you with silk. I decked you also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon your hands, and a chain on your neck. And I put a jewel on your forehead, and earrings in your ears, and a beautiful crown upon your head. Thus was you decked with gold and silver. Your raiment was of fine linen, and silk, and broidered work. You did eat fine flour, and honey, and oil, and you was exceeding beautiful, and you did prosper into a kingdom. And your renown went forth among the heathen for your beauty, for it was perfect through my comeliness, which I had put upon you, saith the Adonai Elohim.
Through my comeliness which I had put upon you. Go ahead.
But you did trust in your own beauty.
Now, we trust in our own beauty. We forgot how we were when Yahweh found us. The same people come into the word, they get baptized, they walk a certain way, then after that, they trust in their own beauty. They forgot how they were when Yahweh found them. Because see, you ain't found Yahweh. Yahweh was never lost. People have to, I found the Lord. You found what? He wasn't lost, you were. Go ahead.
And played the harlot because of your renown, and poured out your fornications on everyone that passed by. His it was. And of your garments you did take, and decketh your high places with divers colors, and played the harlot thereupon. The like things shall not come, neither shall it be so. You have also taken your fair jewels of my gold and of my silver, which I had given you, and made to yourself images of men, and did commit whoredom with them.
Right. Taking my fair jewels, the stuff I gave you. And now you done made images of other gods. Go ahead.
And tooketh your broidered garments, and covered them. And you have set mine oil and my incense before them. My meat also which I gave you, fine flour and oil and honey, wherewith I fed you, you have even set it before them for a sweet savor. And thus it was, saith the Adonai Elohim.
See, we don't consider that when we take our substance, our money, and do things, participating in all this paganism. We don't consider how jealous Yahweh, our Elohim, is. Even when we have do things. Here it is. We are Hebrews. We have a culture. There's a certain way that we're supposed to be clothed. And we'll have do that. But I tell you what, let somebody invite us to a costume party. Boy, we decked out from head to toe. And y'all, look at you. Look how far you go to worship that paganism. Come time to keep Yahweh's feast, show up in blue jeans and t-shirt. But when it was time for you to worship that paganism, you decked yourself from head to toe. Right. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 20. Moreover, you have taken your sons and your daughters, whom you have borne unto me, and these have you sacrificed unto them to be devoured. Is this of your whoredoms a small matter, that you have slain my children, and delivered them to cause them to pass through the fire for them?
Mm-hmm.
And in all your abominations and your whoredoms, you have not remembered the days of your youth, when you was naked and bare, and was polluted in your blood.
Right, because we have selective amnesia. See, there's certain things we just select to forget. We don't want to remember that. Go ahead.
And it came to pass after all your wickedness, woe, woe unto you, saith the Adonai Elohim, that you have also built unto you an eminent place, and have made you an high place in every street. You have built your high place at every head of the way, and have made your beauty to be abhorred, and have opened your foot to everyone that passed by, and multiplied your whoredoms.
Yahweh is getting pretty graphic. You done open your feet to everybody that passed by. Go ahead.
You have also committed fornication with the Egyptians, your neighbors, great of flesh, and have increased your whoredoms to provoke me to anger. Behold, therefore I have stretched out my hand over you, and have diminished your ordinary food, and delivered you unto the will of them that hate you, the daughters of the Philistines, which are ashamed of your lewd way.
Right. We don't consider if you lose $20, it's a judgment. We don't consider that Yahweh start taking things away from us. We don't think, man, I should probably alter the way that I'm doing things. Go ahead.
You know, it's interesting. He said he delivered us unto the daughters of the Philistines that hate you. And we know who the Philistines are.
Mm-hmm.
And they hate us to this day.
Right.
Verse
what
20.
we call Africans. When we deal with those things, you don't see them hanging out with us. They don't hang out with us. And we walk around calling ourselves African American. Right. See how many Africans hang out with Americans? They don't hang with you. If they do, they're getting something from us. And when they get what they got to get, they gone. They don't hang around you. You a cotton picker. You don't hang around no cotton picker. Go ahead.
Verse 28. You have played the whore also with the Assyrians, because you was unsatiable. Yes, you have played the harlot with them, and yet could not be satisfied. You have moreover multiplied your fornication in the land of Canaan unto Chaldea, and yet you was not satisfied herewith.
Right, because as long as Yahweh doesn't do righteous judgment immediately, we think Yahweh cool with it. Go ahead.
You know, from Canaan to Chaldea, that's from Africa to Europe.
Why stop if Yahweh ain't stopped you? See, this is why we don't understand when we run into problems. Sometimes it's our best thing. See, that's your speed bump unto your sin. See, the people who never hit a speed bump, they're going full speed. And they keep going. Yahweh keep putting speed bumps. And then some people, then they get, well, I ain't gonna deal with this word no more. I keep having problems. I ain't had no problem when I was going to church on Sunday. Right. It wasn't no speed bumps, and you were flying right to that lake of fire. Right. Wasn't nothing gonna stop you. See? Yahweh put them speed bumps. Like, what was that? Just slow down. What was that? Slow down. Right. Now he's starting to call, it's less sin you finna carry in. See? He's starting to try to work on some situations. That's what those issues are about. Otherwise, you walk right in feeling justified with your head up high and don't even see you walking right into the fire. Just as bold and feel good. A lot of people gonna feel good until they feel the fire. Because they feel justified all the way to the fire. Like it says, a lamb who's led to the shears and to the slaughter is dumb. It don't know it's going to die. It don't know if all your wool finna be gone. Then you finna get ate. But it just walked in there. It don't know. It just a dumb. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 30. How weak is your heart, saith the Adonai Elohim, seeing you does all these things, the work of an imperious, whorish woman, in that you buildeth your eminent place in the head of every way, and makest your high place in every street, and have not been as an harlot, in that you scorneth hire.
Now, understand something now. This is Israel as a whole. So we're not just dealing with no situation where we're talking about women now. We're talking about the entire nation of Israel being this whorish woman. Go ahead.
But as a wife that committeth adultery, which taketh strangers instead of her husband.
All right, what verse you at?
Verse 32.
All right, read that again.
But as a wife that committeth adultery, which taketh strangers instead of her husband.
You see, it's an exclamation point right there. It says, but as a wife that committeth adultery, which taketh strangers instead of her husband. Not strangers and her husband, instead of her, in the place of her husband. So the stranger will be with, Israel will be with the stranger, but cut off the husband. See, that this is that twisted thing that we play, where we'll be more out there in the street. When I first got my house, the house I live in now, I bought the house when I was like 22 years old. I thought it was a pretty good accomplishment. Let me tell you something, I had to learn something real quick. When women came to their house, before they got to the house, they was like, yeah, you know, you a certain kind of cat. They saw the house, they be like, whoa. So you live here by yourself? I said, yeah. Okay, we need to slow down. I need to slow down. Now they picking out drapery. Wait a minute. No. This is my house. You gotta get your own. Wait a minute. I don't want to slow down. I was 22 years old. So then I said, okay, I'm gonna perform me a little ghetto experiment here. Have him again. I said, no, this my buddy house. He just let me stay here. Oh, okay. I said, now look at that. So when you thought I was a deadbeat, you were ready to turn flips and do all kind of tricks. But when you thought I was marriage material, now you want to hit the brakes and slow down. Right. That's them gang. That's them strangers that be with somebody else instead of their husband. They gonna turn the tricks in the street. But I want to present myself a certain way if he's marriage material. Right. Play them game with somebody else. Go ahead.
Verse 33. They give gifts to all whores, but you giveth gift to all your lovers, and hireth them, that they may come unto you on every side for your whoredom.
Right. Yahweh said you playing game. They give gifts to whores, but you give gifts to your love. You're an upside down hoe. They hire hoes. You hiring tricks. Go ahead.
And the contrary is in you from other women in your whoredoms.
Other women said, look at this dumb hoe here. How you gonna hire a trick? They supposed to be paying you. You paying them. Right. See, we pay them because what it says, you take strangers instead of your husband. Right. We go all out worshiping these other gods, but then we're gonna have to do the way we deal with Yahweh. Yahweh got a problem with it. A real problem with it. Go ahead.
Whereas none followeth you to commit whoredoms, and in that you giveth a reward, and no reward is given unto you. therefore you are contrary. Wherefore, O harlot, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus said the Adonai Elohim, because your filthiness was poured out, and your nakedness discovered through your whoredoms with your lovers, and with all the idols of your abominations, and by the blood of your children, which you did give unto them, behold, therefore I will gather all your lovers, with whom you have taken pleasure.
Get all your love. I'll get all your little ex-boyfriends and whatever that is, ex-girlfriend. Get all your little lovers, all the little people that you done put all your time in. Go ahead.
And all them that you have loved, with all them that you have hated, I will even gather them round about against you.
Right. All them that you love with all them that you hated. So we're going to have a real party. Yeah. Go ahead.
And will discover your nakedness unto them, that they may see all your nakedness. And I will judge you as women that break wedlock and shed blood are judged. And I will give you blood and fury and jealousy. And I will also give you into their hand, and they shall throw down your eminent place, and shall break down your high places. They shall strip you also of your clothes, and shall take your fair jewels, and leave you naked and bare.
Right. We got strangers living in the land of Israel, calling themselves the Jews, and the nations have come in and robbed everything that was there. Go ahead.
They shall also bring up a company against you, and they shall stone you with stones, and thrust you through with their swords. And they shall burn your houses with fire, and execute judgments upon you in the sight of many women. And I will cause you to cease from playing the harlot, and you also shall give no hire any more. So will I make my fury toward you to rest, and my jealousy shall depart from you, and I will be quiet, and will be no more angry. Because you have not remembered the days of your youth, but have fretted me in all these things. Behold, therefore, I also will recompense your way upon your head, saith the Adonai Elohim. And you shall not commit this lewdness above all your abominations.
Says, because you have not remembered the days of your youth, but have fretted me in all these things. See, we don't remember how things began with us and Yahweh. See, it's amazing how quick we forget. If they turn around and build a skyscraper across the street, in 2 years' time, we'll think that skyscraper was always there. That's how strange we are. We think, yeah, this always like, bro, it wasn't but 2 years. Remember, that was an empty lot. Oh, yeah, it was. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 44. Behold, everyone that useth proverbs shall use this proverb against you, saying, as is the mother, so is the daughter. You are your mother's daughter, that loatheth her husband and her children, and you art the sister of your sisters, which loatheth their husbands and their children. Your mother was an Hittite, and your father an Amorite.
Right, and people will say, I don't hate my children. Well, you look at how people do. They put all their time and energy in dealing with foolishness. Meanwhile, their children are neglected. You look at the little project mamas, and they got their nails done, they got their hair done, and the little kid look like a busted mess. Like, who is little dirt ski over here? Who is this? Why the little boy dirty? But you got your hair and nails done. What's wrong with the little boy? See? Folks say, I don't hate my kids, but they spend all their time watching television. The little boy, diaper, full of crap. Right. Oh, I don't hate my child. Right. Hate is neglect. See, remember, Yahshua says, if you don't hate your mother and father, does he really want you to hate your mother and father? He don't want you to put your mother and father before the word. So when he says you hate your children, look at the things that you put before them. They got all this time and energy that they put into all these other things. If your time and energy wasn't going into all that mess, then maybe you would be able to pay attention to what's going on with your children. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 46. And your elder sister is Samaria, she and her daughters that dwell at your left hand. And your younger sister that dwelleth at your right hand is Sodom and her daughters. Yet have you not walked after their ways, nor done after their abominations. But, as if that were a very little thing, you was corrupted more than they in all your ways. As I live, saith the Adonai Elohim, Sodom your sister has not done, she nor her daughters, as you have done, you and your daughters. Behold, this was the iniquity of your sister Sodom. Pride, fullness of bread, and abundance of idleness was in her and in her daughters. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor and needy. And they were haughty and committed abomination before me. Therefore I took them away as I saw good.
Right. Let's go to our Psalm chapter 50. Psalm chapter 50, and let's start this at verse 1.
Verse 1. The mighty Elohim, even Yahweh, hath spoken and called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down thereof. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, Elohim hath shined. Our Elohim shall come, and shall not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above, and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together unto me. Thus, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
Right. You cannot offer that unto your Elohim, that which costs you nothing. This is what King David said. Dawid said, I cannot offer that unto my Elohim, that which costs me nothing. So you can't give me this for me to give to my Elohim. I have to pay for this so that it costs me something. So spiritually, the things that you offer up, what does it cost you? Go ahead.
And the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for Elohim is judge himself. Hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel, and I will testify against you. I am Elohim, even your Elohim. I will not reprove you for your sacrifices or your burnt offerings to have been continually before me. I will take no bullock out of your house, nor he-goats out of your folds. For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the field are mine.
Right. So, because he cut us off and ended up dealing with us, and we were not able to make those sacrifices, I ain't gonna judge you because you wasn't able to do the sacrifices. I know you wasn't able to do the sacrifices because of the things I did to you. That ain't what I'm judging you for. See, people be worrying about the wrong thing. Go ahead.
If I were hungry, I would not tell you, for the world is mine, and the fullness thereof.
If I were hungry, I wouldn't tell you. What you gonna do about it? Go ahead.
Will I eat the flesh of bulls, or drink the blood of goats? Offer unto Elohim thanksgiving, and pay your vows unto the Most High. And call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver you, and you shall glorify me. But unto the wicked Elohim saith, what have you to do to declare my statutes, or that you should take my covenant in your mouth, seeing you hateth instruction and cast my words behind you?
Right. Those that hate instruction, why you calling, even mentioning Yahweh's covenant? You ain't got nothing to do with it. See, then we want to holler over all the things written in the book when we get in trouble. See? Let the man show up at the door and we, oh Lord, oh God, oh this. As soon as we get out of trouble, we done forgot everything we said. We done forgot everything we promised. Go ahead.
When you sought a thief, then you consented with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. You giveth your mouth to evil, and your tongue frameth deceit. You sitteth and speaketh against your brother. You slandereth your own mother's son.
Right. There are people that are nicer to people outside of the word than they are to people that are inside the word. But see, that's because those people that are outside the word remind them of themselves. That's that part of themselves that they still trying to hold on to. Go ahead.
These things have you done, and I kept silence. You thoughteth that I was altogether such an one as yourself.
Right. See, because Yahweh held his silence and didn't do judgment right away, that people think Yahweh is altogether one such as they are. So if I like it, Yahweh like it too. You can go ahead and fool yourself if you want to. Go ahead.
But I will reprove you and set them in order before your eyes. Now consider this. You that forget Elohim, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. Whoso offereth praise glorifieth me, And to him that ordereth his conversation aright, will I show the salvation of Elohim.
Now, your conversation is not just what you say. Your conversation is also what you do. So, to him that orders his conversation aright, will I show the salvation of Elohim. That's why people can't see the salvation of Elohim, because they refuse to walk in the way that they've been instructed. They hate instruction. That's why people come in this door and then be right back out of here. Once they find out, no, we're not just finna sit up in here and holler and scream and sing and dance, and then you just go back home and keep on being the same hellacious person you was before. And you've been in this word and you still the same way you were when you came in. Something wrong. Something seriously wrong. There's no growth. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5. I might not be what I need to be, but I ain't what I was. If you still what you was, it's a problem. That's a problem. Matthew chapter 5, and let's read verses 17 through 24.
Verse 17. Think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I'm not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Right. And that bust up that Christian doctrine that the law is nailed to the cross. And he came to fulfill. Now, ask yourself, people say, well, see, he fulfilled the law. Did he fulfill adultery? No, because he didn't commit adultery with nobody's wife. Did he fulfill stealing? No, because he ain't stealing that. The earth and the fullness therein belongs to him. How can you steal that which is yours? So even when he said, go down there and get that donkey, it was his. We just wrote. I know. Remember, it says, let us make man. This is the son of Elohim here speaking. The earth and the fullness therein belongs to him and his daddy. So when he said, let me go get that coat, you're going to find a coat tied. And if they ask you, what you doing with it, said it, dad and they have need of it. It's his. Is it legal for me to do what I will with mine on? It's mine. Go ahead.
Verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled.
And we know everything has not been fulfilled. We still are reading about the moon and the sun changing its state. All of the things that have to happen. Turning black as a sackcloth of hair, turning blood red in the skies. None of that has happened. So how do we let somebody fool us and tell us that, the law is nailed to the cross? He said fulfill. What did he fulfill? Sacrifice. So there's no more sacrifice that can be offered for sins. That ain't got nothing to do with the rest of the commandments. That ain't got nothing to do with the rest of the dietary law and the moral law. That dealt with sacrificial law. He fulfilled the things that he did. He didn't do any of the things against anybody in the moral law. So he couldn't fulfill it because he didn't do it. But he was sacrificed. So he fulfilled sacrificial law. Go ahead.
Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
Right. And every week they break the Sabbath day. Every week. It says even the least of these commandments, and those that teach men so shall be considered the least in the kingdom. We were taught how to break the Sabbath on Sunday morning. Because see, they kept giving us them little slick answers. Every day is holy. Yeah. You can worship on any day. Yeah. Right. Singing. Making us feel good while we breaking the commandments. Right. They taught you to break the commandments. That's where you learn to break the commandments at. So you ain't got to worry about seeing pastor in that kingdom. He ain't going to be there. Because that's who taught you to break it. It says, and he who teach men so. You ain't got to worry about seeing him because he ain't going to be there. But I tell you what, he going to have to deal with all them angry people he misled for filthy lucre's sake. Because he getting paid to teach them people that lie. See? See, even things that look like it's free make a lot of money. You have to ask yourself, Facebook free. But the guy who owns it is a billionaire. Don't get fooled by the way things look. They're getting a lot of money to misteach you. Go ahead.
But whoso shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven.
And the problem with the scribes and Pharisees is that they were hypocrites. They offered one thing in the way that something looked, but they dealt with it altogether differently. Go ahead.
You have heard that it was said by them of old time, you shall not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. But I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment.
Right.
And
so you got people that it says angry without a cause. If there's a cause, then that means that person did something against you according to what's written in this book. Not you just don't like them. See, some people think they have a cause, but your cause don't stand up to the word. Produce your cause. See, I'm angry with this brother, or I'm angry with that sister. Okay, well, what sin did they commit against you? See, some people are so selfish that they're just angry because things didn't go their way. And now they think they have right to be mad at another brother or another sister. Go ahead.
And whosoever shall say to his brother, Reka, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, you fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. Therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar, and there remember that your brother has aught against you.
You know that your brother has aught against you. Your brother or your sister has aught against you because you know what you have done. See, but here come that selective amnesia again. We remember something happened in 1976. But all of a sudden, we forgot that wrong we did 2 weeks ago. Go ahead.
Leave there your gift before the altar and go your way.
He's giving you an opportunity to fix that. Otherwise, your gift getting thrown in the spiritual trash. See, Creflo not going to tell you that because he need that money. See, he not going to tell you that. He not going to tell you, look here, don't even bring your money if you ain't going to cleanse your heart. Now, you bring your money and we'll worry about your heart later. Go ahead.
First be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift.
Right. See, go fix that issue. Then bring your gift. Otherwise, you're setting your gift on fire. You're putting it in the offering box and you don't see that smoke to come out of it. That was your offering. See, that's what Jake need. To just put something in there. What was that? That was your offering. What all that smoke is? That was your offering burning up. That means you need to go take care of something. Jump to verse 29.
And if your right eye offend you, pluck it out and cast it from you. For it is profitable for you that one of your members should perish, and not that your whole body should be cast into hell.
Right. Now, this is your right eye. This is something that you have depended on. This is something that is close to you. If that thing is offending you, that means causing you not to walk in this word. But what we want to do is we want to deal with outward things. She causing me a problem. He causing me a problem. Do you look at the things that are within you that's causing you not to walk in the word correctly? Cast that away from you. See? Judgment starts in the house and then comes out. Here go the house. Go ahead.
And if your right hand offend you, cut it off and cast it from you. For it is profitable for you that one of your members should perish, and not that your whole body should be cast into hell.
Jump to verse 38.
You have heard that it has been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
I'm going to get him. I'm going to get her. I'm going to pay her back. I can't wait. People stay up all night. They can't even sleep. Why you can't go sleep? Because I'm trying to see exactly how I'm going to get Keisha back. Okay. So you don't lost sleep. You're planning how you going to do this. Go ahead.
But I say unto you, that you resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite you on the right cheek, turn to them the other also. And if any man will sue you at the law, and take away your coat, let him have your cloak also. And whosoever shall compel you to go a mile, go with him too.
Go with him too. If they compel you to go 1 mile, go 2. See, Yahweh don't want you to half do. As he said, the children of Israel have come to me feignedly, half-heartedly. He ain't going to accept that. Go ahead.
Give to him that asks you, and from him that would borrow of you, turn not you away. You have heard that it has been said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, and do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you.
Now, the funny thing is this, you don't even have to tell Israel this. We are nicer to the people who hate us than we are to the people who have love. People will be nicer at their jobs than they are to people in the word. Because, see, there's a monetary attachment to the people at the job. See, somebody can say something they don't like at the job and they just sit there. Let somebody say something that they don't like when they get off work. All of a sudden, they have no more restraint. Wait a minute. Now, you can restrain all your words at the job, but you get out that job and some brother or sister in the word do something you don't like, and now you just openly show your disdain for them at that moment. It's amazing. Go ahead.
That you may be the children of your Father, which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. For if you love them which love you, what reward have you? Do not even the publicans the same? And if you salute your brethren only, what do you more than others? Do not even the publicans the same? Do not even the publicans so, pardon me. Be you therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 23. Matthew chapter 23, and let's start that at verse 23.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought you to have done, and not to leave the other undone.
And not to leave the other undone. But people don't want to deal with things in that matter. It says these scribes and Pharisees, remember, as it is written, unless your righteousness exceeds the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom. The problem with the scribes and the Pharisees is they were hypocrites. See? Now, you have to look at the definition of this word hypocrite. Hypocrite in the New Testament is in Strong's G5273, and it says an actor under an assumed character, stage player. See? So a hypocrite got certain faces. See? They got church face, they got a house face, they got a work face, they got a club face. They always sometimes get them faces mixed up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You come to church and oh my goodness, that was my club face. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me put that back. Right. Right. Be ready to twerk it up in here. Wait a minute. Maybe that's the wrong face. I didn't mean to pull out my twerk face. That was, no, I'm sorry. My church face. I'm sorry. Church, not twerk. Right. That's what happens when you keep having all them faces. You forget which one to put on. Right. You put the wrong one on at the wrong time. Right. You have one face. You ain't got to worry about that. See? You ain't got to worry about that. Go ahead.
You blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you may clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. You blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also.
Right. See? That's what happened when we present on that face. See? We got that church face, so we'll come and be nice to everybody. I'm talking sweet as diabetes, need insulin. We so sweet. Cussing folk out before we get in the car. Mother sucker, shut up. Wait a minute. Whoa. He ain't got the parking lot yet. Right. Because they reached in the bag and pulled out that other face. Wait, let me take off my church face. Oh, yeah. Right. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 27. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness.
Yeah, that's a burial place. So y'all seen the big shiny white places that they got in the graveyard? Yeah, look, man, it's real shiny white on the outside. It's gleaming. Yeah, but it's got the dead body in there. That's unclean. I don't care how shiny and bright it appeared to be on the outside. It's hypocrisy. It's an assumed character. Go ahead.
Even so you also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within you are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! Because you build the tombs of the prophets, and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous, and say, if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. Wherefore you be witnesses unto yourselves, that you are the children of them which killed the prophets.
You are the children of them which killed the prophets. Let's go to Psalms 55. See, a lot of people feel that way. Oh, I wouldn't have done that. If I was in them days, I would not have done that. And you look and you see their actions, that they are just that. They would have definitely been those who would have persecuted the prophets. See, a lot of people believe that they would have followed the Mashiach. Understand now, the Mashiach was a preacher with no church, going from place to place. Everybody believed they would have followed him, because hindsight is always 20/20. Everything done happened now. Yeah, now you can look and say, yeah, I would have done that. But keep in mind, you still got this big temple over here, and you still got all these people in charge over here at the temple. And then you got this dude that's moving from place to place. He having church in houses. And people are convinced they would have followed him. Right, you fooling yourself. But you ain't fooling Yahweh. Psalms 55, and let's start that at verse 12.
For it was not an enemy that reproached me, then I could have borne it. Neither was it he that hated me that did magnify himself against me. Then would I have hid myself from him. But it was you, a man mine equal, my guide and mine acquaintance.
All right, now see who we have a problem with? Go ahead.
We took sweet counsel together and walked onto the house of Elohim in company.
These are people he went to church with. We sought sweet counsel of Elohim together. That is the ultimate part of hypocrisy. Go ahead.
Let death seize upon them, and let them go down quick into hell. For wickedness is in their dwellings, and among them. As for me, I will call upon Elohim, and Yahweh shall save me. Evening and morning and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice.
See, that's one of the plus things that come from a whole lot of hell. Make you pray more. See, when things don't happen to you, you be all right. You know what I'm saying? You might pray 1 week, miss 2 more weeks. You know what? I ain't talking to Yahweh in a minute. Let me talk to Yahweh. Let me tell you something. When hell come visit at your door, folk be praying so much they text prayer. Let's see if Yahweh get this one. Sin, holler back. Right. Go ahead.
He has delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me, for there were many with me. Elohim shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old, because they have no changes, therefore they fear not Elohim.
Right, just because you're an elder don't mean nothing. If you don't do things that the way they're supposed to be done, Yahweh come visit you too. See, ain't none of us above reproach. Don't get it twisted. Go ahead.
He has put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He has broken his covenant.
There's a covenant of peace between people who have not had an issue. And when you do something to somebody, regardless of what you think, feel, and believe, you do something to somebody who have not done anything to you, you have automatically broken the covenant of peace that's supposed to be within two people. You gonna suffer for it. Go ahead.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
Shalom. Shalom. Right. Go ahead.
His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
Right. See, y'all think this was me doing this. No. I'm just acting out what I'm showing you here. The words were smoother than butter, but then there was a sword right behind it. Right. See, y'all thought I was making that up. That ain't me. That's in the book. Go ahead.
Cast your burden upon Yahweh, and he shall sustain you. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. But you, O Elohim, shall bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in you.
All right, let's go to Proverbs 26.
Proverbs chapter 26 and verse 1. As snow in summer, and as rain in harvest, so honor is not seemly for a fool. As the bird by wandering, as the swallow by flying, so the curse causeless shall not come. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the ass, and a rod for the fool's back. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you also be like unto him.
Right. Go ahead.
Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit.
So you got to be careful in how you deal with that. If you gon' answer the fool about his folly, don't answer the way he has come. See, now you gonna act a fool just because they acted a fool. And now it's two people in jail. Go ahead.
He that sendeth a message by the hand of a fool cutteth off the feet, and drinketh damage. The legs of the lame are not equal, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. As he that bindeth a stone in a sling, so is he that giveth honor to a fool. As a thorn goeth up into the hand of a drunkard, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. The great Elohim that formed all things both rewardeth the fool and rewardeth transgressors. As a dog returneth to his vomit, so is a fool returneth to his folly. Seeth you a man wise in his own conceit? There is more hope of a fool than of him. The slothful man saith, There's a lion in the way, a lion is in the streets. As the door turneth upon his hinges, so does the slothful upon his bed.
He got a reason why he hadn't done this. He got a reason why he hadn't done that. Got a reason for everything. Go ahead.
The slothful hideth his hands in his bosom. It grieveth him to bring it again to his mouth. The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason. He that passeth by and meddleth with strife belonging not to him is like one that taketh a dog by the ears. As a madman who casteth firebrands, arrows, and death, so is the man that deceiveth his neighbors and saith, Am I not in sport? Where no wood is, there the fire goeth out. So where there is no talebearer, the strife ceaseth.
Where no wood is, the fire goes out. So where there is no talebearer, the strife ceases. So every little bit of that mumbling is some more wood thrown on the fire. The fire would have gone out. The problem would have gone out. But everybody got something else to say. They keep throwing wood on the fire. The fire would have burnt out. The issue would have dwindled. But the issue can't dwindle when you keep throwing them logs on it. Yeah. She said such and such. Another log. Now the fire, here come the fire back. Now people got to answer the fool according to his fire. Well, you gonna say something foul? I'm gonna say 2 things foul. Here goes some more wood. Now we got a whole fire again. The fire would have burnt out. But the fire can't burn out because we keep throwing wood on it. Go ahead.
As coals are to burning coals, and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. Burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd covered with silver dross. He that hateth dissembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him.
Mm-hmm.
When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart.
Mm-hmm.
Whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation.
Whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. Yahweh waits, and he gives enough so that he can prove that it's a pattern, and then he gonna expose it. Go ahead.
Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin.
All right, let us hit a conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Galatians chapter 6. Galatians chapter 6, and let's read verses 1 through 10.
Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, you which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering yourself, lest you also be tempted.
Mm-hmm.
Bear you one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of the Mashiach.
Mm-hmm.
For if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself.
Right. And see, the whole part of dealing with that hypocrisy is we esteem ourselves much better than anybody else. So we'll want things for ourselves, but won't be willing to give those very things to somebody else. Go ahead.
But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another. For every man shall bear his own burden. Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teacheth in all good things. Be not deceived. Elohim is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
Whatever you plant, that's what's going to grow. Now, you can do whatever you want. This is one of the things, our folks not even knowing anything about the word, they would always, tell us, things like this. Whatever you put out there, that's what's going to come back to you. Now, the problem is, by the time it come back, you done forgot that you put it out there. That's the problem. See, it take a minute before it show back up. See, all the people who did all them foul things in their younger days, they get old and go through hell. And then they're like, I don't know why I'm going through hell. Sure you don't. Sit back. Think. And that's the wonderful opportunity that Yahweh has given you to work off some of that hell. At least you go to judgment for it. Go ahead.
For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. As we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men.
Let us do good unto all men if we have the opportunity. But, go ahead.
Especially unto them who are of the household of faith.
Especially of them that are of the household of faith. So we're supposed to go the extra mile for those who are of the household of faith. But what we do, backwards Israel, who swallow a camel and strain out a gnat. We will be extra open-hearted to the heathen and be hell toward one another. The effects of colonialism is still eating us up. But what we have to understand is we don't get to go into Yahweh's holy kingdom and build a holy nation with those things stuck off in our hearts and in our spirits. These are things that are going to have to be changed, or we're going to be purged out of his kingdom. It says that he will purge out all things that offend. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.